are here in Morgan, Utah for the trial of Joshua Grover, being represented by Mary Coperan. Take a look at who the lawyer Mary Coperan is. Right now, they've gone through jury selection. Now they're gonna pick the finalized jury right now. And then the trial of Joshua Grover, you can look up the video. It's on Twilight Real Estate Photography. You can watch his full hour-long presentation. It's his #2 most popular video. So we are here in Morgan, Utah for the trial of Joshua Grover. We're going to break down Joshua Grover's guilty verdict in Utah. He was found guilty of resisting, and he was found guilty of failure to ID.
Was taking pictures of the rear. He's now currently on the east side of the home, described as a 35-year-old white male. Last seen wearing a dark shirt, hat, using a large camera with a tripod. Negative weapon scene. When the complainant spoke to him, the photographer said that the owner told him to take the pictures.
Okay, bring your hands behind your back for me. What did I do? Bring your hands behind your back. What did I do? Let's get out here. What did I do?
Did you see that right there? That was resisting arrest.
You're not following our orders.
Why do I have to follow your orders?
Why don't be a dumb. Let's just follow the police. Have it broken. You go with the lawsuit, it'll go nowhere. Your facts are not facts.
No, they are facts. You were trying to be a little more aggressive than you needed to be for no reason. There was no resistance, no nothing.
There was no reason for you to not follow our orders, was there? Other than being...
Other than I'm a free man in America that I don't have to listen to what another man tells me to do unless I've broken the law.
Are you f***ing me? You want to go down this road?
I just want to know.
I'm going to go get a statement from them about...
I just want to know what crime I'm being detained for. So taking photos in public is illegal?
No,
So taking photos in public is illegal?
Joshua Grover got convicted when he did absolutely no crime. He did not violate any other person or the law.
I just quickly want to describe what actually took place between me and the complainant. While I was shooting the common grass area in the back, I saw her step out onto her back patio. I quickly said, "Hi, do you mind if I take a photo real fast?" She ignored me, got a dirty look on her face, and started walking towards me faster. Halfway across the grass, she yells at me, "What are you taking photos for?" I replied to her, "It's for my job, it's for real estate." She continues walking towards me and gets to where I am, and then says, "Well, who are you taking photos for?" I pointed in the direction of the unit that I was photographing, and I told her it's for those owners.
Why did Josh lose? The cop had reasonable articulable suspicion because a Karen called. Karen went to court and she testified against Josh, by the way.
I took my picture and walked away. She followed me, stopped me again, and said, "Well, what's their names then?" I replied to her, "Ma'am, I don't give away people's personal information." Trying to maintain professionalism.
So I was with Jose from Utah Cop Watch. Shout out to Jose if he's watching.
Yeah, I hated the way it was worded.
Now this hardworking man is going to
I know, don't. I won't even...
I'm sorry. I'm Chille from Delete Lawz.
Hi.
What's your name?
Breck Galbraith, yeah.
So what happened in there? What was the jury room like?
Oh, it was just like coming down to the actual like... because we didn't have all the context, right? All they asked us to do was read, did he hit these markers? Did he ever refuse?
To give ID.
Which was easy, because he did. I wouldn't have known that's a law, but that's not what we were asked to
It's because of
decide.
Heibel, 2004 case of Heibel versus Nevada.
Okay,
6th
so
District.
I didn't know that. And
Right.
also on the jury is a former police, so she's like, you should know that. I'm like, I didn't, and I'm a...
One of the jurors was a former officer. The lawyers believed that having a former officer who was retired, her husband an officer, her son an officer, the lawyers believed that putting a cop on the jury was going to be advantageous to them because at the justice court, you're not allowed a probable cause hearing or an evidentiary hearing. So the cops believed, the lawyers believed, and they were super lawyers. Mary Coperan is a super lawyer. They believed that the cop on the jury would favor Josh because the cop would tell the others that I don't get that logic. It's one of the big things I saw that I did not agree with. I would not have a cop on my jury. She just said, and the cop was a retired detective.
Okay, so I didn't know that. And also on the jury is a former police, so she's like...
Also on the jury was a former police officer, and she said...
should know that. I'm like, I didn't. And
You should know that. You have to tell the cop your first name and last name upon request if they have reasonable articulable suspicion. The cop was all the way on the prosecutor's side.
I'm well read. Like, I would know that. I would tell my children, remain silent. What I would always err on.
Right. She would tell her kids to remain silent when being questioned by cops. She believed Josh had the right to remain silent. The DA said he didn't, so she convicted him.
Err on remaining silent.
So I feel like it's the responsibility of the cops to give more information, and I personally feel like a lot of his what looks like defiance was questions.
Yeah.
Of nerves and curiosity of like what is actually going on here, and questions, but they didn't ask us how we felt about any of that.
Was there anybody, with any of the four of you in the jury, were any of you like not guilty? And
oh yeah, that's why we took forever, because like we were so split. Because at first we all thought like if he was resisting arrest, he was not guilty, but that's not what the charge said. When you read it, we had to read over and over. It said, did he ever refuse an action that a law officer required of him?
And the refusing of the action is when he was juggling his $7,000 camera, and when he pulled his arm away to take the camera to give the cop his left arm that he was tugging on, that was refusing an action of a law officer. Listen to her definition again.
What the charge said, when you read it, we had to read over and over. It said, did he ever refuse an action that a law officer required of him?
Right.
And that we had to say yes, even though,
right.
You know, when it comes down to like certain verbiage.
What's going on, Mary?
You know,
I'm just listening.
That's Mary Cope around there. She didn't want to do an on-camera interview, and maybe she'll see this, maybe she won't. Mary, I vehemently disagreed with putting a cop on the 4-person jury. I vehemently disagreed with it. But it's not my place to tell her that at that time. I couldn't believe it, to be honest with you. Not only is she a cop or a detective retired, her husband's a retired cop, her son's a current cop. Anything the guy doesn't do to comply to cops, the cop's going to say the guy's guilty.
If his character was on trial or like what he actually did was on trial, there's nothing he did that was worth any of our time here, right?
Would it have made a difference if he had testified?
Yeah. I would like a little context of why he was nervous to give his identity.
Right.
Because that would have been nice, for sure.
Or going back to what you said, when you teach your kids, just don't say anything. Don't talk.
Because you can implicate yourself so easy accidentally.
Right.
Right? Or you can get in situations that are not, so.
Mary, do you have any questions you want me to ask?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
I would have.
Nice to see you, Mary.
I get that it's so
tricky. Take care. Be careful.
For defendant to take the stand, but it would have been nice because it's like, well, obviously there's a reason. Like you just like who's obviously
so
there's a reason.
But it might have made a difference to you if you'd taken the stand and said, "Hey, I was taught to plead the fifth and not say anything, so I wasn't going to say anything."
Because that's what I teach my children.
Right.
And my children look like everybody they live around too, and I still teach them that.
The thing is that some of this, like right here, if we would have said, "I don't answer questions," and I plead the fifth and stuff like that, they would still charge him for the same charges because he didn't give his ID.
That's right.
I know. So the charge.
Remember, you don't have to give ID, but you have to tell the cop your first and last name if he even says that he has reasonable articulable suspicion, which blows open the door on so many stop and ID states against us.
Charges were really like...
And it was broadly written where if you just deny giving your name, then you're guilty.
Exactly.
If you just
like, did we think he was guilty of really harming or doing anything? No.
What about the resisting? How'd you guys see that?
No, if it was about resisting arrest, we said no, he did not. But it said, did he ever refuse an act in detainment that an officer required of him when he said...
Did he ever refuse an act of detainment?
Moved to the front of the car and he said, I won't.
Oh.
That was it, that moment on... But
do you see that?
Did he ever
refuse an act? And when Josh said, move to the front of the car, and he said, I'm not, that convicted him, Martin, in her eyes.
Refuse an act in detainment that an officer required of him when he said, move to the front of the car, and he said, I won't.
Oh.
That was it, that moment on the video. That was it.
Him saying, I won't. If the copper says that you have to go here, and you just simply take a step back and catch that on film, but you don't say, I'm not going to, then it can't be used against you.
How did you feel after you knew there was going to be a guilty verdict?
Heartbroken. I hate, because it's like, I mean, I don't want to say too much, but I was irritated there was a phone call to the police in the first place.
Yes.
That's how I felt.
Yes, we call her Karen.
I was just like, It was daylight. You were in your house with your husband.
Door was
He
locked.
told you he was doing his job, and he did not continue to bother you.
Yeah, he walked away
So
from her.
why did you call the cops? If
Her husband was home, and she called the cops because the guy was outside with a camera. She showed up to court and cried on the stand.
he had kept, maybe, but I feel like he was just like, come on. I'm just doing my job.
I don't know if you guys watched the video when she tells the cops, you guys are my go-to.
You guys are my go-to.
You guys are my go-to.
It was the very
that
last
means-
clip.
So pretty
when
much
they were
it's
all
like she
standing
calls
up.
them all the time.
I get
and
it.
it's the
I
same
know.
guys.
I wish it was our job in there to be like, how do we feel?
Right.
But they said, answer this question.
And so you're going just by the words on the page.
Over and over, we went over it. Over and over. Because it was down to the...
And there's a cop on the jury. And the cop is telling the jurors, hey, it says this on the page. You know, we got to convict him. I don't know why they put a cop who was retired on the jury. If they don't see the light, an ex-cop is the most bitter, like they put coffee grounds in their gums kind of person. Are there some good ones out there? Sure. There's a great white buffalo out there as well.
Wordage, did he ever refuse something the officer required? And the officer said, I require you to do this. And he said, I won't comply. And we're like, oh, he did it himself.
I'm gonna teach this. Do you have any questions?
No.
Thank you.
I mean, thanks for talking. I do, like, I didn't want you to think
Are you here by yourself? Do you have a car?
Yeah. my car.
That's your car there?
The white
Okay.
one.
I don't want to leave you stand outside
So
by yourself.
I'm gonna.
So, you know, the flags in the background here, it should almost be flown at half mast for the tragedy of convicting this guy for doing nothing wrong. The process. He didn't put his hand behind his back. When they said, go stand over there, he said, I'm not. And they convicted him over that for resisting. If the government tells you what to do, you have to do what the government says now. And if you don't do it now, as jump how high, you're guilty of resisting arrest because you didn't do it how we told you to do it.
Give you his name, his YouTube channel, so you can watch the full
what is his
video.
YouTube channel?
Twilight Real Estate Photography. Twilight Real Estate.
Oh, I can remember that.
When you
Yeah.
watch the whole video, you're gonna feel really bad.
Don't, guys.
They cheated him.
I know.
It was the procedure the
figured.
cops were doing, and
Plus,
and
like,
for
I don't know how close you are to her, but she asked none of the right questions.
I know she pissed me off this time.
She put a cop on the jury.
Maybe she...
I'm not.
Yeah.
But Boots, for example, he's a hammer. Everything's a nail. So they get to the scene, and you're
His
gonna
energy was...
You're gonna call Boots is gonna call him a criminal.
And you know that
His energy was...
You know when she was gonna question Green about his other job at the UHP.
Yeah.
And they cut him.
That's Jose from Utah, Cop Watch right there.
They cut her off.
Yeah. He was
fired.
He was fired from his other
For
UHP
lying.
for lying on police reports.
Yeah. Yeah, nothing surprises me that way. I mean, like...
So this is his YouTube channel right here.
Yeah, she took it
Real
down.
Estate
She took it out.
Photographer. Okay.
Yeah,
And then that's all the videos. This is the very first one. This is the full video of what happened, and this is his work.
There was never a part where I thought he did anything that required any of this. It's just that they asked us to answer a specific question.
It's crazy. I'm gonna get my bar card because I can do this job.
You know,
Right? That's why I was sitting there too, like, come on, I can do better than this.
The lady,
And I don't even know.
the
I can
lady
do
that
this
she
job.
called the
I'm
police
watching it
is
enough
friends
now.
with all of them.
I've
Oh,
lost
yeah.
enough now.
I'm sure.
Sheriff and
I was so
everything.
annoyed because I was just like,
I won both of my motions last week, but this is a long way to go.
your husband was home? It's day, and
Why'd you
why
call
are
the
you
police?
wasting everyone's time?
Your
and
husband's
energy?
home. There's nothing
And
that I
there,
can do.
and some of them were like, well, she was scared. And I'm just like, what has happened to her in her life that made her scared of this? Nothing.
And then
But
The
it
news?
would've-
I don't know.
If it would have been different if he was constantly like saying
That's what I'm
stuff to
saying,
her,
if
but
he
she
had
walked away. He walked
If
away.
he had kept or something,
But he walked
I
away
still
from it.
wouldn't have. I wouldn't have felt for it. But
Controlling everybody and everything around you. I have to control everything. I have to be in control of your outside my house. I have to control you, control your dog, control your kids. I have to control what you do. I have to control everything about you. And that's the kind of person
Kevin
she is.
Gordon.
yeah.